Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Is it time to sell Yieldmax after the recent rally? Okay, into the strength that we've had in this market. Should we just dump all of our Yieldmax now after the Trump tariff rally? Okay, it begs the question because we had massive gains on the way back up from the lows. Now we've had a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of turbulence today in the market. Was it a sign of something bigger to come? We'll discuss that, but nonetheless, should we be dumping Yieldmax now? Yieldmax helps me earn over $500,000 per year in dividends, and it helps me live the FIRE lifestyle, which means financially independent, retire early. If you need help doing the same, email me for my e-guides at aikentod48@gmail.com. So we're getting these dividends, okay? Again, over $500,000 per year. But we're also staying in line with the indexes, doing this with margin, okay? The S&P is down 10, the Nasdaq's down 15, we're down 13. So we're in between the S&P and the Nasdaq, just like I've always said. Okay, this is what we want. We want to outperform with the Nasdaq, of course, because the Nasdaq is a much bigger mover than the S&P 500. But we don't want to be too levered to tech, okay, especially when using margin, because we don't want to fall by the amount of the Nasdaq. We don't want to fall this amount, okay? We want to stay in between these two indexes. So even when you're using margin, 330,000 approximately of margin leverage that I'm using, even when you're using that, we're still in between the indexes. We're still outperforming the Nasdaq, okay? How is this possible? It's because we follow all the rules with margin investing, of course, and just traditional investing, okay? I mean, I just follow traditional investing rules. But when you're using margin, you really have to follow those rules as well, okay? So we'll get into some things that I'm thinking about. I have 5 key points that I want you all to consider, okay? All right, so I'll get to all your questions at the end of the video. So again, today we were down about $40,000, which seems like a lot, but down 3.16, as you can see above. That's pretty much in line with the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq was down 3.07. So we're in line with the indexes. Now, if you factor back in margin, we're down a little bit more than that. So tomorrow you'll see my performance be somewhere, between the S&P and the Nasdaq still, because the Nasdaq was down 4% roughly today, 3% if you look above. So the Nasdaq will be down 18% tomorrow. We'll be down about the same, okay, 17 to 18% when you include our leverage. So we're going to have some wild swings with our leverage, with the vehicles that we choose. All right, we have many interesting vehicles, as you know. Some of them move more than others. We're going to have these swings, but when we have an up market, then we're going to beat the market handily, okay, because we're going to let the compounding take care of the rest of the work, okay? That's going to really give us more gains. Plus, we have Cornerstone, okay? When Cornerstone is done with its rights offering, we're really going to level up and get that extra performance in our account, okay? So the first thing that you got to be aware of is when you're using your portfolio to live financially free, you have to keep your available withdrawal high. This is the first tenet of my investing system, okay? When you read my e-guide, you'll find that, margin maintenance is everything, okay? So my margin leverage here is low interest. First of all, I always get this question. I've negotiated it down twice. It's a little under 5%. Many of my clients who bought my e-guides did the same thing, because when you buy my e-guides, you get my phone number and I text you the script whenever you're ready. All right. By the way, I just got your text, Madden, if you're watching this. So yes, you can definitely text me, Madden. I'm reading your text right now, and I'll get back to you after the show. So, and if you need the script, anyone who's watching, text me and I'll send you that script. Okay. Most members already have my script. So I've negotiated my rates down twice, but I don't really care about my margin rates because my dividends are so high. It doesn't really matter what my margin rates are. It's just icing on the cake to have lower margin interest. Obviously, you're getting more of a profit. You're getting more, you have higher margins, no pun intended, with your margin usage. All right. So not worried about my margin interest. I'm not worried about my margin leverage, because my dividends of over 500,000 will pay this back in less than 1 year. I was just talking with someone in my emails. He's like, why do you have 500,000 of income? Don't you think that's pushing it? Don't you think that's too much? And I mean, no, even he's like, well, you must have a lot of margin leverage, so take off your leverage. I mean, no, I have a system to wind down my leverage whenever I need to. Plus, a lot of my leverage is short, as you know. So I have 100 grand short in my leverage. Okay, you can follow my portfolio anytime. It's here in the YouTube section under memberships. Okay, you can follow my portfolio, my hedges, everything. Also, if you want to know more about me and my personal life and my background, you can head to Ari Gutman's page. You can see our podcast here. I'll also link it in the description below if I have the time. So not worried about this margin leverage, okay? And it's really important that I get this out there, because if I don't have margin leverage, well, then what is the risk at all with investing, okay? You just go with the indexes. Obviously, I don't buy a lot of stocks, so I'm not worried about my margin leverage because it's indexed, it's low interest, and my dividends pay it back in less than 1 year. So my leverage just goes away. Where could the risk be except being in the indexes? And you can't just sell the indexes whenever you feel scared of the market, in my opinion, because then you run into some other issues, which we're going to discuss later in this video. So the first thing, again, that you have to be aware of when you're using margin is maintenance, okay? And Yieldmax is 50% maintenance, okay? So my available withdrawal is high. Now, it's over 100,000. That means I can withstand over 20% correction at this point and not reach a margin call. But I'll never reach a margin call, because even if we have a 50% correction, I'll never reach a margin call, because I have, of course, my shorts, okay? I have short options. I have triple short income, triple short ETFs, and short income ETFs, all three kinds of shorts there. So even if I were to, not make much in my shorts, which we would, I mean, we were up over 1,000% in our put options. Okay. If you need help with put options, that's in my volume 5 e-guide. So, we're going to make a lot of money if the market were to truly crash. So not worried about that. But the reason why I'm not worried about my available withdrawal and my maintenance is because I can always sell Yieldmax at any time. Okay. Raise 50% equity in the process. All right. And then I'm out of a margin call. So if you need help with margin and maintenance, that's in my volume 3 e-guide. Okay. Now it's very important that you have this as your foundation for investing. Okay. Your foundation for investing should just be indexes. But if you're trying to push the limit and get ahead in life, which many of the greats that I know have used debt to get ahead, as I always say, Elon Musk uses his margin with Twitter, with X, to get ahead. If you're trying to get ahead, you need to use a loan. All of the greats that I know have used loans. Warren Buffett used a loan. Dan Loeb, McDonald's, the CEO, anyone used loans. Look at the corporations in our S&P 500. A lot of them have debt. So debt is not this terrible thing. And if you hear the snoring in the background, that's Navy. The key with debt is being able to unwind it with your maintenance, okay? Again, if you need help with maintenance, that's in volume 3, okay? So I can sell my Yieldmax, but the problem is if I sell my Yieldmax, then I lose my income, okay? So we're in a bit of a pickle. I mean, yes, you could sell your Yieldmax and be out of a call, but we would lose that income. So that's not where I sell from, okay? I don't dump Yieldmax just because we're having a pullback in the market, okay? We've had a big run recently, okay? We've come really far, really fast from the lows. This is to be expected, okay? This kind of volatility is to be expected. When I heard about the Nvidia news, I was actually quite happy because we needed a pullback. And I thought that news was kind of bullish because I was alerting my SMS members today. If I'm not making videos on YouTube or I'm not making private videos for my members only, then I have to just update through SMS text. And I was saying today that, this Nvidia thing is bullish, and I couldn't explain why. I wanted to do it in this video. I mean, from what I read, it said that there's, you're going to have to pay a fee to buy, these chips that go to China. And I think that once you bake in the fee, I think China's still going to demand these. You're just going to have to raise prices. Tell me if I'm misinterpreting this. But this is a one-time thing. So once you price this in, it's a one-time thing. So the market barely even reacted to the Nvidia news. I mean, the S&P was down like fractionally, so was the Dow. And then the NASDAQ was down over 1% because of Nvidia. Well, that's fine. Again, we needed a little healthy pullback from this run-up. But today, the market seemed to get shook on the Fed statement, okay? The Fed statements and Powell. And gosh, you can never fight the Fed, okay? I don't know why people get so, up in arms about what the Fed's saying. Okay, they can't cut rates right now because This is a supply chain thing, not a true inflation issue. So this is the same playbook that we had in 2022. All right, so 2020, the playbook was every time there are COVID cases, new cases, then the market pauses and pulls back. Okay, and that was your time to buy because you knew that this was just a cold, and you knew that we were all going to reopen. Look at the deaths every year of flu-related deaths. It was no different. Okay, it was business as usual, and so all of those pullbacks were opportunities of a lifetime to buy. And then in 2022, we had all these pullbacks as well, and the playbook there was, every time inflation spikes, then we're going to pull back. Okay, but we always knew that that was transitory. It was temporary because these were supply chain related, not necessarily economy, they weren't related to the economy. Now, they did print a lot of money, and so that accelerated the money supply, and so that did create some inflation, but we got that down when we raised rates. But in 2025, we have the same thing. We have inflation fears based on supply chains, but we didn't have the printing of the money this time. We didn't accelerate the money supply. So to me, this is the Fed jawboning, as always. They don't want to actually have to raise rates or cut rates, if in a bind. Okay, they don't want to do anything unnecessary to hamper our growth. They don't want to take away their flexibility in the future. So they jawbone their way through things to make the market correct for them. All right. So again, if you're just joining this video now, if you're living the FIRE lifestyle like we're trying to do in our brokerage account, and we're using Yieldmax with margin, the first thing that you need to always watch is your available withdrawal, because you need to keep this high and be able to stand over 10 to 20% corrections in the market. Not only that, but you need to be able to pay your bills. Okay, all of my bills are automated out of my E-Trade account. Okay, automated out of my credit cards first. Okay, and then I get the cashback points, and then they're automated out of my E-Trade account that pays for my credit card bill. So, and then I have other bills that come out of my E-Trade account. My loans come out of my E-Trade account, my car note, everything. So you need to be able to have a high enough cushion. Okay, now you can go to other brokers with lower maintenance, and that raises your available withdrawal. But don't, hang yourself with that extra rope just because you have lower maintenance, because a lot of people are buying too much Yieldmax and then still getting in a margin call or losing serious performance. Okay, we're in between the S&P and the NASDAQ, even with Yieldmax and these risky names, quote unquote, and we have 300,000 of margin leverage. We had 500,000. But I've delevered. And I was alerting my SMS members today in my text, like it was a very simple thing, how I delevered today out of certain funds and then rebought other funds right away. So I play the tax loss harvest game. I get all those back at the end of the year for taxes. I can write those off. And then I still get the same bounce back potential. And I didn't even lose much income doing this, okay? If you ever want to see how I make my moves and all that, you can either ask a question here, or you can follow my portfolio, or you can just join my SMS service. It's all here under memberships, okay? So maintenance, first key to everything, okay? I can't stress this enough. Again, if you're just joining now, maintenance is in my Volume 3 e-guide, okay? I can't answer all of your questions about maintenance. Now, I could sell from some Yieldmax and raise my available withdrawal, but then we lose our income. So what I was selling from today were lower income plays that fall less on down days, kind of like Defiance, like Roundhill. And then I can buy back things that have bigger bounce back potential. Okay, I've been talking a lot about triples, and even certain Yieldmax funds have big bounce back potential, but that's not, what today's video is about. Today's video is, should we sell everything after the recent rally? Are we in major trouble because of our margin and because of Yieldmax and, the decay that they have? Well, I just have to say that none of this stuff worries me, because I stay diversified. I stay so well diversified that not one thing will take me down anyway. But regardless of that, maintenance is your first key. Okay, it's what tells you everything. Okay, my maintenance tells me when to buy and sell. When I see my available withdrawal down to 100,000, when it was 300,000, I say to myself, what was that big drop? And then I go look at the market and I see that we had a 20% drop in the market. So that tells me when to buy. And if my available gets too low, I can just sell certain things and then buy back other things and still get the bounce back. Okay. And I'll delever in the process, because if we go from the singles to the triples, then that's how we accomplish that. Okay. I always get a lot of questions on triples. You know, again, you can see my past videos, even public videos, or you can just ask me, in the chat here. If we don't have time, we'll get to it in the next video. But I think y'all are well aware of my strategy with triples and also Cornerstone. Okay, so a lot of people keep asking me about my market and my portfolio and my ability to withstand a market correction right now. And I always say I've delevered, okay? I don't have much margin leverage because we sold Cornerstone at the highs up here because we get the alert in Discord, okay? They tell us when to buy and sell Cornerstone. If you need help playing Cornerstone, that's in my Volume 4 e-guide. And when you buy my e-guide, you get Discord for life, okay? It's free for life, this Discord chat room. I think it's the best Discord chat room in the world that's finance related. It has thousands of members in it. I think a little around something around 2,000 members right now. And we're all here to help each other out. Okay. So if you ever have questions about your portfolio that I can't answer, then someone here in Discord most likely can answer for you. Okay. TJ, can you come say hi? Come here. Show them what you're building there. Okay. So again, we got the alert of the N2 filing. Then we got the Cornerstone RO alert here in Discord, and that helped me delever at the highs. Okay, you have to play Cornerstone properly around its premium thresholds. You want Cornerstone because it gives you the growth that Yieldmax cannot give you. Okay, look at the growth on this chart right here before the N2 filing and the RO alert. Look at this growth here. Okay, come here, buddy. Let's see. Show them what do you have here. Okay, what's that? What do you have there?
Shotguns.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, he's getting into Cowboys and Indians and stuff like that right now. I don't advocate violence in any way. So, Cornerstone. Tell me when I've gone too long in the video, TJ. Okay. So Cornerstone, look at these gains that we had here. It gives you a 20% dividend. It is the index, so we're not worried about Cornerstone's ups and downs until the RO. And it gives you these premiums at the NAV, okay, 19.5% premiums in addition to the 20% dividends every month in Cornerstone. So Cornerstone is one of the largest closed-end funds in the world, okay? It's a 4-star fund here on Morningstar, as you can see. 4-star fund, been around since the 80s. We can trust this over Yieldmax. Yieldmax hasn't been out too long, as you know. So Cornerstone is where I anchor most of my portfolio. But right now we're trying to hide out in other funds until the RO is finished. Once again, play Cornerstone properly around the premium thresholds, okay? I cannot stress this enough. When you're using margin, watch your maintenance. That's in Volume 3. When you're using Cornerstone, watch the premium thresholds. That's in Volume 4. And if you don't want to have to play the Cornerstone rights offering announcement, TJ, can you stop clicking around though, please? Please? Thank you so much. If you don't want to have to play the Cornerstone rights offering announcement, well, I guess you would just stay away from Cornerstone, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to play Cornerstone, because that's how we really leveled up our account from 100,000 to $1 million. It was because I put everything in Cornerstone. It's low maintenance. It's 30% maintenance. And then we got a double from 7 to 14 during 2021. And we're getting the 20% dividends, and we're getting the drip at NAV. So Cornerstone's really how I level up. And then you rinse and repeat this. You sell out, and you reload after the rights offering, okay? And you get to double up each time, regardless of what the market's doing, okay? So typically you double up. I mean, the premiums that I've been averaging in Cornerstone, most of my members have been getting 30% premiums, in addition to the 20% dividends, in addition to days gains, all right? So you get best of all three worlds when you own Cornerstone. You get the dividend, the premiums, with days gain, same thing, and you get the drip at the NAV, okay? The extra profits every month. All right, so Cornerstone, I'm not worried about my margin leverage because we've sold out of so much of Cornerstone. I had 400 to 500,000 of my dollars in Cornerstone. Okay, so that's why I'm not selling Yieldmax. I've already done my selling with Cornerstone, okay? And I can't wait to level up after the next rights offering, okay? So Cornerstone, that's the huge key to my success, but we've delevered at the highs. And then maintenance is the other big pillar to my investment strategy, okay? And my available withdrawal is high, as I've already showed you, okay? And I keep my maintenance low. That's how I keep my available withdrawal high. Okay, so I could sell other things. We don't want to lose the income. We don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to time the market. All right, so when I do sell, I just let my available withdrawal talk to me. And when it gets low enough, I just delever, and I don't delever for any losses. You see these losses today, 21,000 today? Those aren't real losses, by the way. TJ, can you please make Navy stop snoring so bad? I'm sorry. Just try to pet her or something. These 21,000 in losses, these are wash sales. So sometimes I sell and I buy back, I sell, I buy back, I sell, I buy back. So these aren't true losses, first of all. Second of all, even if I did this one time, there was no wash sale in this. If these were just my dividends, I sold, let's just say I sold from some round hill, okay, and bought some other funds. Well, the 21,000 we've collected in dividends, okay? So even if you see losses here, 20,000 in losses, or total unrealized gain here of 120,000, that does not matter. I've received this back in dividends, okay? And then that pays down my margin debt by 120,000, let's say, and then my account grows by 120,000. So I like these losses. They help me write them off. I can write them off during tax time and get them back, okay, as I harvest them. Okay, and then these days gains, these are total losses, and then these are days losses. And again, these aren't real losses. They're all just dividends or wash sales, okay? So I can tell you we're up massively in some of our triple leverage positions, okay? I mean, Soxel was up 50% in one day after the recent bounce. So, and then I just, it doesn't even matter if I'm up or down percentage-wise in my positions, like in my triples, because I'm always trimming at the highs and then rebalancing at the lows, similar to what I did today. So I just deleverage. I let my available withdrawal talk to me, okay, and tell me when to either sell something and buy something else back immediately, play the tax game, still get the same bounce back potential. As you can see, my performance is in between the S&P and the NASDAQ. So we've been bouncing back strong, okay? And we're still collecting the same income if you're just joining this video late, okay? We're still collecting over 500,000 in dividends. I'll never reach a margin call. I have my put options, I have my short vehicle ETFs, but I also know how to delever my available withdrawal and go to other names, play the tax game, still get the same bounce back potential. All right, so there's never any selling for me when it comes to the indexes. That would be a capitulation. I'm not trying to quit anything, okay? I'm not a quitter. I'm a big sports guy, so I mean that's just not in my blood. And if anything, I'm going on offense. You can't play to lose; you have to play to win. Okay. So another thing that you have to keep in mind, okay, another big key here is that I also sell my puts down here when the volatility is extremely high, like it is right now. You can sell these puts and collect all this income, and you can get extra premium income because the market is falling so big. So I use the big market falls to sell my puts, okay, and then lower my margin, and then I take the proceeds and buy more dividend paying funds, okay? If you need help selling options like I do, that's in volume 6. If you need help buying put options for insurance, that's in volume 5. My put options weren't up big today, even in this major down day, because the VIX is not that high anymore. All right, that should be a sign that this market is not panicking. Okay, the VIX was up 8%, but this is starting to roll over, as you can see here. Look at this rollover back in this time, 2024. Okay, it's going to have we're going to have little fits along the way, but the VIX is not high enough. Okay, when the VIX is high, time to buy. When the VIX is low, time to go. Well, the VIX is still not low. It's still in between. Okay, this is not low. When the VIX was high up here, you buy. That corresponds with market bottoms. When the VIX is low, this is the median point. This isn't the time to go. I would say more around here is the time to go. So that made our options not move big. When the VIX spikes big, that's when our options move big, and that's all we care about. The market's not going to tank unless there's a lot of fear in the market with the VIX. But we already have our put options on. Okay, so I have my put options on. They're up like 20 or 30% today. Again, no big deal. I've seen our puts be up 1,000% in one day when the VIX is really spiking. So that tells you there's not a lot of fear in the market when the VIX is that low. And we also had a major rally off the lows. I mean, do you see this one-day chart with Yieldmax? On this one day, major rally right here. Okay, so if we were truly panicking, I think we would have been selling off more into the close. But this jawboning by the Fed, this is a nothing message. Oh, they're stuck 50-50. They can't raise rates. They can't cut rates. The market is, we're pricing in more odds of a recession. Odds of a recession, not a recession is here. odds of a recession. I remember in 2022, we never even got the recession. All their odds were going higher. All these smart people, smartest in the room, saying the odds, the probability of a recession is increasing. And we never even got there. And even if we did get a recession, we bounce back so fast, the market's forward looking. So even if you touch a recession or negative GDP, it never lasts. Okay, you have to buy these dips. All right, so, am I selling Yieldmax after, the recent rally? Okay, should we pocket the gains, walk away with 900,000 or 950? We're just back to 970, yesterday. So why not just walk away? Why didn't I ride off into the sunset with $1 million account value? Well, that's nothing to live on. Okay, inflation is too high. That's not even a lot to live on. Plus, I would have lost my ability to pay my bills. Okay, I would have lost my qualifying income to the banks for loans. It's like a pay stub. You cannot lose your qualifying income. That's how I show my work history. It's through my dividends. And if you have 2 years of dividends, you qualify on average $50,000 in dividends. Just $50,000 in dividends, you qualify for a $300,000 house. At least that's how it was for me 6 years ago. So I don't want to lose my income. I have to keep paying my bills. SPY or VU will not pay your bills in a downturn. Schwab D won't either. I love those funds, by the way. They're great funds. I'm just saying, if you want to live free now, well, we can't live off those because when the market falls, they don't pay you a dividend, and you can't sell from those shares because then you lose your ability to bounce back. So it's really hard to sell. You just have to ride out the storm, keep buying the dips, and use your spare cash to buy the dips. But I don't have cash. I'm in margin. Okay, so I use my margin power. Okay, for every $1 you put in your account, you get $4 of purchasing power. So I have over $4 million roughly of purchasing power when we're at $1 million. Then we have $4 million of purchasing power, but I don't use it all, of course. And I've used so much of my margin, and I've tied up so much of my equity with shorts and things like that, that my purchasing power is only about $500,000 right now. So I just use my purchasing power to my advantage when the market dips. I never panic. I can de-lever at any time. Okay, and then I just play the tax loss harvesting game. Okay, if you need help de-levering and using your maintenance, again, that's in my volume 3 e-guide. If you need help playing Cornerstone and timing Cornerstone around the premium thresholds, that's in my volume 4 e-guide. If you need help selling put options, that's in volume 6. If you need help buying put options, that's in volume 5. Okay, so we've had a lot of turbulence recently. Is that reason to sell this market? I don't think so. Okay, you never sell. Okay, you always stay invested, as Warren Buffett says. Okay, and we could raise the equity if we wanted to, but then we're going to lose income. So you have to do it smart. Okay, you have to raise equity not from Yieldmax, but I raise equity from Round Hill and Defiance. Okay, because they fall less. Okay, and then I go back in to the triples. Okay, this is some of the best advice I could ever give. Are the triples risky? I don't think so, because the spreads are 1 to 2 pennies. Okay, so you can get in and out even in an illiquid market, and they're the 4th largest traded vehicles on the Trump tariff rally. Plus, we have triple shorts, okay, to hedge our triple longs. So it's really impossible to ever catch us in a margin call. I wanted to go on a trip today. I didn't care how much I was losing. I was down 75 grand at one point today. Then we're down 40. I don't care if I'm down 75, 45. It doesn't matter. My income stays the same. All right, and then obviously we just have to worry about our available withdrawal, but that is the maintenance game that we play. Okay, all this can be found in my e-guides. Okay, email me for my e-guides if you need help living financially free out of your brokerage account. Okay, when you get my e-guides, you get my phone number and Discord for life. Okay, let me check the comments and see if there's anything that I need to get to. If there's a glare here with the sun, I apologize. But hey, Guy, hey, Christopher, Ricardo, Paul, thanks for that info, Paul. And Jason, yeah, definitely interesting times. Okay, I got my mouse back, as y'all can see, and I just hope I don't click off of anything. The trade war has caused a lot of damage and fear here in China, Ricardo. So I appreciate that information as well. And so we have Paul and we have Ricardo. Paul was in Taipei and Toronto. I would love to hear your take on that as well, Paul. How Canada looks at it, because those are some of our big trading partners. Yes, buddy?
You've been going too long.
Okay, too long. Okay. Oh, he always tells me at this point. What do you say at this point, buddy? What do you say at this point?
If you keep liking, subscribe, watch my dad's video.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, everyone hit like, Okay, and subscribe, yes, but hit like, okay, on this video, okay? Like the video, give it more reach, okay? More people need to live financially free out of their brokerage accounts. This is the one thing that I see everyone being able to do. It's a democratic system, okay? Because everyone can have a brokerage account. There's no background check needed for margin. We can all buy the indexes ourselves. We don't need a financial advisor to do it for us who takes all of our money and ties it up until we're retired at an old age. We can just take advantage now, okay, with these funds, with margin, but you have to play by the rules. You have to watch your maintenance, play Cornerstone around the premium thresholds, and obviously keep your insurance on. Learn how to sell puts if you're feeling a little more advanced. Selling puts is not more risky. Selling puts is less risky, okay, than buying the stocks outright. All right, good to see you, Sully. Phil, good afternoon. Yeah, let me know how that was, Paul. Silers, good to see you. Josiah, just fear. Fed warns of something bad, makes the market react. Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to jawbone and keep us honest, okay? That's all that I'm thinking it is. Feed the family. Once the market stabilizes and begins to rise, Yieldmax will be paying high dividends. That's very true. Hard to sell Yieldmax, feed the family, when they're going to raise dividends in an up market. Defiance raises dividends in a down market. So we have all of the different components we need to stay free in our brokerage account. DM, hey Todd, Nvidia was cheap today. Missed the bargain, but I'll nibble at CLM. Yeah, DM, just make sure you're watching the rights offering and you're playing it properly, DM, because that is about to commence. But I agree. I wanted to buy more Cornerstone myself today, but I have to wait until the rights offering is finished. Plus, there are so many opportunities in the market. I have bigger fish to fry elsewhere right now, especially for higher yields and bounce back potential even. Jonathan, can you talk about if we should dump Defiance and replace with Yieldmax, given the new lower targets coming in? Yeah, Jonathan. Okay, I talked to Ari today. Once again, go check out Ari's page. You can see my podcast with him, more about me. Ari also has a lot of great stuff, and he's the one who introduced me to Defiance. Okay, so I'll be talking with her sometime next week. We needed the market to settle down. It was supposed to be this week, but then the market got a little crazy again. So expect the turbulence, but yeah, we'll talk about that next week, hopefully, Jonathan. Okay, and we'll definitely do a private video like tomorrow or the next day. Members only. Anyone can join, by the way. Just head over to my membership section on YouTube, and we'll talk more about it there, Jonathan, okay? Right. I agree, Jonathan. Yeah, can't wait to talk about those. So you already know that I size out of Round Hill. I de-lever out of Round Hill, go to the others. But with Defiance, that's like my Alamo. It's hard to de-lever from Defiance just yet. Okay, those effects those changes aren't coming into effect until I think is it end of April, end of May? Let me know in the Discord chat room, Jonathan. Auto Nest Egg, I think the bear market will be going for another year or so. Who won that bottom comes in, and I'm convinced it'll start getting back into the income funds. The NAV decay was too crazy. Yeah, the bear market, whether it lasts a year or 10 years, you just buy low, because as a long-term investor, you always look ahead. And the bear markets don't usually last too long. 2022 only lasted a year, and that was with high inflation. That was with high inflation, high interest rates. Those have all come down. I think the economy is actually still looking really bullish right here. These are just exogenous shocks. They're not balance sheets. They're not systemic issues like we were having in 2008. Hey, Michael, I lifted my inverse too soon. Bummer. Sick of this tariff. Yeah, Michael, I've lifted some of my triple shorts, but I still have them on. I just have a smaller allocation now. But I think you made the right move ultimately. Long term, that'll prove to be correct, Michael, if you can just withstand the volatility. Good to see you in the live chat, Michael. Lamar, that maintenance will kill you. 70% for Misty is crazy. My maintenance for Lamar is my maintenance for Misty Lamar is 100%. So I have to keep that small. My maintenance tells me what to buy and sell, tells me where to go, tells me how much risk to put on each. Because maintenance is also an indication of higher risk. The higher the maintenance, the higher the risk. Good point, Lamar. Stefan, Misty is actually 100% exactly. Donald, if it was bought for income, why dump it? Exactly. Why dump, Donald? Exactly. Now, some people get scared. I don't know why. I mean, even if you're not in margin, why would you ever sell the indexes? But if it's an index with income and you're living off it, especially, why would you sell? If you're using margin, you don't have to sell and take losses and worry about margin. Okay, you just delever and buy the equivalent, and you can still get the same bounce back. You can delever with high maintenance and go to low maintenance. There are all kinds of tricks. Okay, see my volume 3. We'll call it Bugogi. The synthetic funds are trash. I think they have huge NAV decay. I would only buy funds that actually own the underlying. Yeah, I mean, when the market was good, there wasn't that much decay. So when the market's down, you're going to see extra decay. It's going to look like that. But they still bounce with the market. And the key with decay, there is no such thing as decay. Okay, the key with decay is you get these days gains in between. Okay, so you have to factor that in, and then those are gone when the dividend comes, but then you get the dividend back. So you got the dividend plus those days gains in between. You have to keep that in mind. Okay, otherwise the stock prices will be much lower. Okay, so I don't really think there's such thing as decay when it comes to the good Yieldmax and Defiance and Round Hill funds, even Cornerstone, because they're linked to the indexes and their underlying NAV is growing. But when you have something like, I don't know, Ulti or Tesla, where the underlying NAV was falling in many cases. Ulti had a lot of semiconductors. It was falling for like a year. Okay, that's just because the underlyings were falling. It's not decay. It's just the underlyings were falling. I hope that makes sense, everyone. Excuse me. Doing a lot of talking today. Lots of client calls today. You can call me anytime. You can text me anytime. And then we set up a time to talk after that. Lance, I appreciate you for texting me and setting it up for me a couple days in advance even. But I'm here for all my members. Again, Madden, I'm here for you after this show. Levi, can you hedge Tesla ETF with dips? I hedge Tesla with crash, Levi. Or Levitt. Yeah, Levi. I think that's how I say your name. Tell me if I'm wrong. Jonathan, crash Tesla. Exactly. SI, what a great surprise. Thank you. Of course, if you're talking to me. Jonathan, yeah, dips, Nvidia inverse. Right. Levi, you are absolutely right. Crash is the right ETF. Exactly. Okay. SP, good to see you. Vanco, when is the estimated date for the RO end? I believe it's in Discord. I think it's, what is it? We'll go double check on Discord, okay, Vanco, and we'll also do it. We'll talk about that in the live in the morning. Hey Pat, good to see you. And if we don't do a live tomorrow morning, we'll do one tomorrow afternoon. Levi, an inverse of a covered call risk profile would be good. Yeah, I mean, the covered calls just don't fall too much, so an inverse wouldn't gain too much, but I know what you're trying to say. There you go, Dave. May 16th. Good information, Dave. I believe they do, but you have to call them and ask to turn it on your account. Yes, if you're talking about the drip for Cornerstone, you get the special drip. Now you can just select on, okay, toggle on, and you get the special drip for Cornerstone. But again, play it properly around the premium thresholds. It's not something to run from. Many closed-end funds have rights offerings. You just play them to your advantage, okay? That's volume 4 if you're just now joining this live, okay? Maintenance, volume 3. How I use margin, volume 3. Cornerstone and the premium thresholds to get the dividends and the premiums and the days gains. Okay, dividends, premiums, days gains. Days gains and premiums are the same thing, but the special drip that we're getting 37% gains every month. In 2021, we're getting 45% gains every month with Cornerstone. Okay, that's in volume 4 if you need help with Cornerstone. A lot of people don't talk about selling puts, but that's an absolute way to lower your margin, lower your volatility, lower your cost basis, lower your risk, and you take the proceeds and you invest elsewhere. But be aware that when you sell puts, it still takes up equity. But a lot of times when you sell puts, the maintenance is lower. Like when we sell puts with Defiance, my maintenance is only 20%. Can you try to get Navy to stop snoring, TJ? All right. Hit like and subscribe if you're just now joining this video. Hit like, hit subscribe, okay? Get this video out to as many people as we can. All right. Jonathan, next week, okay? That's the tentative date. Albert, hey there. Kelly, good afternoon. Big P, this is a good time to buy Nvidia and other tech company defensives, or should we let it dip a little? We never know, Big P. We never have a crystal ball. All we can do is just play our position sizes, play our maintenance, and play our equity levels, and those tell us what to do, okay? When my position size goes from 10,000 to 9,000, I rebalance back to 10. If it goes over 10, then I trim it back to 10. I just let my position sizes and my maintenance tell me what to do, Big P. So for Nvidia, I might have my position size tell me to add more. I'll go look into that. We'll do that with the members tomorrow. But we're hedged in with dips, so it doesn't really bother me. And I've been buying semiconductors in other ways. There are other vehicles to play it, including Yieldmax's Chippy. When that dividend comes in, it'll be nice. Prosper on Purpose, Pilot Fish, PPD, awesome. Another video well done. Thank you, Prosper on Purpose. I'll just call you Prosper, okay? Thanks a lot. Make sure, I was gonna say, just comment you're commenting in the chat, okay? That's good enough. I think that shows a lot of activity to YouTube, okay? So all of your comments here, or even if you're watching this video later, okay, if you comment in the comment section below, okay, it's good for the video, it's good for the algorithm, and also I'll try to get back to all of your questions. I never leave anyone hanging, okay? Regardless of what some people might say. I had one guy in the last video, again, I called him out in my private video. I'm here for you. I forgot his name, but if y'all go look at the comments in my last video, this guy said I was another BS YouTuber. That really, it didn't piss me off, because I know that I'm not. I know that I'm here for everyone. I'm fully transparent. I'm right here. I deal with my clients all day. I'm here for all of them, okay, any time of the day. So I'm not really worried about what he said, but regardless, I'm here for you, okay? I'm reaching out to you once again in a public video, okay? Here if you need me. Hey, Sherry Lee. Yeah, everything's going well. Hey, Argentina. Hey, Jay. Income Bull, thank you as always for the insight and behind the scenes look at your portfolio. Of course, Income Bull. One and only. Hey, Todd, how do you feel about QQY prospectus going to credit spreads instead of puts? Yeah, I don't like it. That's what we're going to do a video on. And I'm going to really put her feet to the fire in that interview, okay? Y'all all stay tuned for that. I think it'll be sometime next week, okay? The market's just so crazy, we keep postponing it. Picked up a few hundred CLM syrup, waiting to go in big. Same, Michael. I'm licking my chops. I cannot wait to buy. The time will be soon for that, but not quite yet for me. And then we're going to really level up our account, because that's low maintenance with days gains and the dividends. And so that's how we really get the growth side of our portfolio. Okay. I can trim out of my triples at any time to go into that. That's my plan. Michael, I picked up a few hundred. Okay. Yes. Aaron, Schwab has dripped at NAV for at least a year. Yep. Schwab also has that drip at NAV. Josh, I've learned not to hold anything right now. It looks like trading options or crypto is the key right now. Yeah, but if you do that, Josh, then you lose your qualifying income. You can't pay your bills. You have to time the market every day to survive. I just wake up every day and let the market take care of itself. All of my gains come without me even trying. It's a very passive strategy. But if you can do that, more power to you, Josh. Moises, I'm investing every single day, buying SPY, CLM, CRF, QQI, Gove, Schwab D, VIT, VGT, and others. Yeah, I sold those today, Moises, by the way. I sold many of those to go into higher paying dividend funds or higher moving funds, okay? And I delevered. I went 1 for 3. Hey, Tiger, thank you so much. Being a cash user, all in Yieldmax, I can withstand the volatility, collecting the cash flow weekly. That's right, Tiger. Even if you're in a little bit of margin, you can still, your dividends will pay it back so fast that it's not really a worry, okay? You just don't want unnecessary underperformance, okay? And Yieldmax has been doing pretty good for us, okay? As long as you don't put too much leverage with Yieldmax, you'll do okay, I feel. Look at the stats of Yieldmax. It was up, 37% last year? So I thought that beat the market. I'm pretty sure that beat the market, even with the quote-unquote erosion. Tamika, do you play the X dividend dates? No, I do not. I get that question a lot. The yield capture on X dates. I'm not good enough to time those, Tamika, but good question. Major Sam, hey there. We're texting today. Enjoy the text. I would show him your dog, okay? At least that's what I'm seeing here. Let me see. I guess it's not important, but I guess, sorry, I get sidetracked here, but there's a lot of Sams. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, we have Zoe here. Okay, but that could be a different Sam. this is Sam 56, and then there's Major Sam. So there's so many Sams. I apologize. But Major Sam, I know we talk a lot as well. So good to see you, Major Sam. Salute. Hey, Michael, May 13th, right? Frosty, is Misty the best Yieldmax fund to be invested in? I don't think so, Frosty. Statistics would say yes, but in a down market, you have to stay indexed. Very good question. Aaron, possibly. Josh, it seems holding on to any of these CC, cover call, Yieldmax, Defiance, Rounder are wiping out portfolios. I get that all the time, Josh, but if you go factor back in dividends, it's not wiping out your portfolio. It's growing your portfolio. You fall by the amount of dividends. Look at my losses here, 119,000 in losses, but look at our performance. We're in between the S&P and the NASDAQ. We're beating the NASDAQ, okay, even with leverage. So you would think that we'd be down way more than the NASDAQ. Okay, and we still grow our account. So we fall by the amount of the dividends that pays down our margin, though, and then our account grows by the equivalent amount. It's just like real estate. Okay, you use the HELOC. If you reinvest in your house, then your value of your house grows. All right, Aaron, Josh, right? Okay, Rugerio, I think is the way to say it. I'm heavy in, tell me if I'm wrong on that. I'm heavy in quite a few tickers that are killing me at the moment. YMAG, YMAS, QDTE. Holding for the long haul, though. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're getting killed on paper, but factor back in those dividends, and you'll see the total returns. Many of these funds are very competitive with the indexes, if not better, like YMAX. After an up market, of course. Christian, I sell and buy all of my Cornerstone. Don't hold it because the unadjusted chart is not very good. Yeah, you sell and buy all of your Cornerstone. You sell all, and well, tell me what you mean, Christian, there. Are you saying you sell all of Yieldmax and go to Cornerstone? Solutions, how is the tax hit on CLM CRO? Selling triggers taxes. Yes, that's correct. I have my taxes. I got my tax amount that I owe a couple days ago. We'll talk about that in a separate video. Hopefully the next video, but I have so many video ideas to cover right now. I didn't even want to make a video today. I wasn't like really panicking or anything, but I have so many that I'm getting bogged down by all my ideas. So I have to just get this out there. It's cathartic. Plus we all stay accountable together. Brandon, okay, I might buy a little CRF and turn on the drip, see how it goes. There you go, Brandon. Can't go wrong with that. Just play it around the rights offering properly. But if you buy a small amount, it's not going to hurt you. Christian, looks like you keep around 10% available withdrawal because you have hedges on. Yeah, but 10% available withdrawal is not even, I don't even use that metric anymore. I used to always say keep 10 to 20%. But for me, I don't even care because there are ways to delever and then just go back into other funds and then make the same bounce back. And then you take losses that you harvest at tax time. And then you never take a loss that way. So I'm not even worried about my margin leverage. Nothing can stop us, okay, as long as we stay in the indexes. I'm saying it right now. I'm bragging to the camera, okay? And usually that's when I get caught off guard. But I'm equal weight in things. I'm not like overweight in one thing or another. So not one thing can take me down. And I'm in all the indexes. And most of these they've been around for years, okay? The leverage funds that I use, Cornerstone's been around since the 80s, but I keep them all equal weight. So again, nothing can take me down. Again, all that's in my Margin 3 e-guide, how I manage all these funds together, how I escape margin calls. I don't really even worry about margin calls, but again, that's how you would escape them. I have some option buying tips in Volume 3, but I also specialize in insurance, options, triple shorts, boxing Cornerstone at the highs so that you lower your maintenance. That's all in Volume 5. Okay, you can sell short Cornerstone at the highs and make the same money going down, okay? And you raise your available withdrawal because it lowers your maintenance to 5% when you box Cornerstone, okay? That's in Volume 5. Okay, Josh, appreciate you too, okay? Thanks, I'm glad you've been following me, Josh. Christian, nibbling on XPay, SPYI, XDT. Yeah, I like those, Christian, because... Well, SPYI and SPYI in particular, because it's going to give you some growth, but those others are high maintenance for me with not enough income, unfortunately. You can go to other brokers with lower maintenance, but they might not have the special drip for Cornerstone, so be aware of that. At our Discord, we tell you who has the special drip. We have a brokerage specifics channel here. So we have a Yieldmax, Defiance, everything you can think of, but we also have a brokerage specifics right here, okay? We also have a channel for Canadian investors. Look at all these channels here. It's an absolute... one-stop shop for all things finance related, okay? Let me go pull up the chat here with this black background so it's easy on the eyes. Has anyone been buying winter? Yes, I made a lot of money in winter. I would think a lot of my members did too, Clifton, okay? And I've since removed a lot of those hedges, and I've just kept Misty at the lows. Owning it. I've been watching a lot lately. You're definitely not a BS YouTuber. This is my new favorite channel. Thank you, Owning It. I appreciate that. You know, a lot of exposure has been brought to me from Ari from that podcast. So I want to say thank you to Ari once again. Shout him out there and say, check out my podcast with Ari there, Ari Gutman. You can also follow me on Twitter at any time, okay? Follow me here on Twitter. I try to, repost the most important minds in the space, okay? I like to repost Tom Lee in particular, okay? And he thinks Bitcoin is still the way. So follow me here on Twitter if you want to see all my posts. Sometimes I share my own thoughts, of course. At unconventional, it's at Todd Aiken UWI, okay? Unconventional Wealth Ideas. Okay, I believe we're almost at the end here of the questions. Does Misty pay weekly? I think so. Argentina, let the chat confirm that. Not at the moment. Okay, maybe it's just monthly. Jet Driver, I would wait on winter. Clifton. Christian, bought 30 shares of Misty today at the close. Get money, buy income. That's right. Just watch your maintenance, okay, if you're at E-Trade. Amber, what did you miss? Nothing really, Daniel. I mean, I gave 5 key points that I want y'all to consider. And I don't want to make the video too long, so check that out if you get a chance at the beginning, Amber. Also, I'll redo a live tomorrow, and we'll kind of rehash these thoughts tomorrow in the private live, okay? Brandon, so during the rights offerings, we just buy more discounted shares. Exactly, Brandon. But sometimes there's not a rights offering, okay? You just get like a whale sale. Like if you go here to Cornerstone, you'll see we had a chart up of Cornerstone, and you'll see that it has its ups and downs, okay, even without the rights offerings, okay? That's because you have to play it properly around the premium thresholds. Look at these ups and downs. Okay, like let's say 2022, we know that was the rights offering, but here we had these ups and downs. Okay, why was that? Like this one right here, up and then spike down, because you have to play the premium thresholds properly. Okay, and you know how to do that if you just have experience with Cornerstone or check out my volume 4 e-guide. Okay, you can also box Cornerstone at the highs, make money on the way down. That's in my volume 5 e-guide. Cornerstone volume 4, how to box it and lower your maintenance and protect your, not only Cornerstone position, but protect your overall account, because Cornerstone is the index. That's in volume 5. All right, so maintenance is the whole key to everything. That's in volume 3 if you need help with maintenance. Okay, you need to understand how maintenance works so that you can not only withstand margin calls, but so that you can know how risky an asset is, but also so you can know how much you can withdraw out of your account and pay your bills. Very important, okay? That's volume 3. All right, and you need to also be aware that if you sell these dividend funds at these levels, okay, not only do you just lose, and that's unnecessary when they're the indexes, but you have to pay taxes. You lose your qualifying income to live free from 9 to 5, okay? All right, I think that's all the questions. Let me double check this and see. Brandon, yep, okay. Clifton, you're welcome, Clifton. CZ, MSTE, much better than Misty. Okay, good info, CZ. We'll check that out next video. Brandon, you're welcome. Christian, why is MSTE better? Good question. Mike, what would be a high-level description of a rights offering? High-level description. We'll talk about that in another video when we have more time, Mike. Or check out volume 4. Christian, have you looked into IMST? IMST. I usually just play the MSTU and MSTZs when I want more leverage. IMST, I have not. We'll go look at that in the next video, just because we're under time constraints now. I know the video started at basically 4, and it's 4:50, so I don't want to deter people from watching the videos, okay? All right, so we're still outperforming the index, the NASDAQ, and we will be outperforming all the major indexes if we keep playing our cards right with the indexes, with margin. We're going to continue to live financially free out of our brokerage accounts no matter what. This is do or die for me. I never want to go back to a job, okay? So email me for my e-guides at aikentod48@gmail.com if you need help doing the same, living free out of your brokerage account. Not only do we want to live free, but we want to outperform the indexes. So remember, when you buy my e-guides, you get Discord for free, and you get my phone number for free for life, okay? Discord and my phone number are free for life, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video, all right? And I just had to get this one off my chest. We'll be doing more videos soon. I wasn't even bearish today necessarily, but you need to be aware of these different components if you're going to sell Yieldmax here. And I just had to get this off my chest because I have so many more video ideas to come. All right, they're already written down in my phone. Okay. Yeah, Amber, thanks for reminding everyone. Like this video if you can. Stop right now. Come like the video. Just hit like right there. Get this pushed out to as many people as we can. All right, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.